Well, I want to welcome everyone to our holiday edition of the B1 Exchange. I'm here with Alyn Hughes from Cloud for Partners. I figured we'd stop in and say hello before the end of the year. Alyn, how are things going with you getting ready for the holidays?
Uh, Sort of. I'm married to a very efficient woman, and everything is done. But I finished my last trip of the year yesterday. I got back from Belgium at 10 past 10 last night. So I've looked at my passport. It's been a busy year. 18 trips to Europe.
Wow.
So it's. I think it proves that meeting people is people still buy from people. There's Zoom, Teams is great, and it's brilliant when you've already got a working relationship. But to really make a difference in how you deliver and develop relationships with people is nothing beats face to face. Although my eye bags are down here now. This isn't a beard anymore; it's my eye bags.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, I think it's been a very good year. So, I guess, one of the things to stop off is for me is, I'm looking forward to ending the year, family trip coming up, to
Brilliant.
finish off the year. So I'm looking forward to that. A little bit of R&R after a very busy year, and just looking to be able to kind of have some time with the family and just be able to unwind and get things ready for 2025 is for me, is
I
my,
know, which it seems so far away for such a long time, and it isn't. It's 2 weeks away, but it's. I think we all look forward to this break, don't we? Because it's been a phenomenal year. It's been really fast paced. There's been a lot going on. SAP have finally woken up and smelt the coffee and realised that SAP Business One is a viable solution that they really must back. The summits were interesting. I've met a lot of partners globally. I've enjoyed these podcasts with you, Corey. They're always fun. We always learn something new anyway as we go on. But I only see 2025 is getting busier. And that includes with you guys over in the States and Canada for ourselves too. We've got a couple of new guys that are going to be traveling Canada and America a lot and spending quite a considerable amount of time meeting partners in that neck of the woods. We already work with a lot of you over there anyway, but it just cements it. And as I said before, meeting people face to face is where it's at. Getting people to actually get on board and to actually appreciate the value that you're looking to provide for them and get for yourselves. Plainly, it works both ways when you actually see each other.
Yeah, it makes it a true global economy. And, as we're kind of, looking back, as we close out 2024, I guess one of the things that I'd like to, touch on is, figuring out what, your top highlight or the top highlights for each of us were for 2024 from a business perspective. So maybe I'll, start with you and see, what was your top highlight for 2024 in that regards?
Right. Well, for me, this year has been a year of change because previous to this year, I was the solutions director at Ascari, which is an SAP Business One Gold partner in the UK in its own right and fully owned Cloud for Partners. And it's only this year that I've transitioned to the Cloud for Partner side of the business because that's where we see most of our growth. And certainly this year has proven it. I think we're in a much better shape coming out of this year, going into next year than we were at the start of this. And that snowball is getting bigger as it's going down the hill. We've had some notable wins, got lots of new potentials to come. And what I have learned is that when I do go and meet people, they're quite grateful that I've made the effort to go and see them. And I've eaten in some fabulous restaurants this year. I should be a whole lot fatter.
No, for sure. Absolutely. I think one of my biggest highlights for the year was really, going to the Partner Summit and being sponsors with Cloud for Partners and being there side by side and, obviously getting a chance to meet with a lot of the partners and, showing our wares that we have and just making, people aware of what we're trying to provide. I think that was been our biggest highlight from 2024. And as a result, being able to sign a number of new partnerships within the SAP B1 community, I think it just, reinforces, the direction that we're taking with our solution. And, and so again, and just having the opportunity, as you mentioned, being able to meet with people face to face, being able to shake their hand, being able to put a face to the name, is really, to me, was a key differentiator. And that's, I'm looking forward to reinforcing those relationships as we go into 2025. So that's been a big highlight for us from that business perspective.
No, absolutely. And with the SAP Summits next year being announced in March, it's not that long before they happen all over again.
Absolutely.
So I'm hoping I don't have to do as much marketing as I did this year rather, ready for the summits earlier on. But they're always a good place to meet new people and see new ideas. And I'm wondering what SAP have got up their sleeve for this year.
Which leads us into, with regard to the upcoming, SAP Cloud Summit. I guess now it's coming under a new name, referring it to the SAP Cloud Summit as opposed to the SAP B1 Partner Summit. So,
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how SAP is changing that from a name perspective. And I have some ideas in regards to it as to why they're changing the name. I think to avoid alienation is my guess in regards to, with regards to B1 and with regards to S4HANA. I think that, S4HANA customers probably on the smaller side want to be able to attend. And then, on one hand, they feel if it's called a B1 Summit or B1 Partner Summit, it's kind of like alienating, the S4HANA people. And then if you're coming in as a B1 partner and you're hearing about S4HANA, you're like, well, wait a second, is B1 here to stay? It really, opens the question as to, why did they change it? I think it's an interesting change. I think, but, the end of the day, you still get the questions around a lot of people saying, well, is B1 still here to stay? And the answer is absolutely. Those that are, talking about it, it's not going away anytime soon, that's for sure. I think a lot of the competitors that are out there are probably trying to play off that in regards to.
I think you're very right there. I've heard competitors say even for years now that B1 is dead. And it isn't. There's over 80,000 customers now, and I really do think if they keep developing it in the rate and knots that they want to develop it at now, it'll be near 100,000 by the end of next year, and who knows where it can go. And it's always interesting to me when you read articles on LinkedIn or in the press, and they talk about ERP for SMEs or SMBs, whatever you want to call them, and they don't mention Business One at all. And you're just wondering, how honest is this article? How much have you been sponsored by other people? I like independent articles which talk about everybody. SAP have recognised they've had to change their tune, and then, as I said earlier on, they've woken up and they realise what a gem they've got in SAP Business One. You don't have an established ERP solution for over 20 years that still continues to sell without it having some real good core functionality.
Yeah, no, I agree. And, I think it's going to be interesting. I think this year, if I'm not mistaken, the SAP Cloud Summit is going to be held in Orlando in the beginning of March, and mid-March, we have the one that's going to be in Barcelona to cover EMEA. So that'll be very interesting. We're looking forward to being there at both events as well. Hopefully, again, being side by side with our friends from Cloud for Partners and being able to network and be able to see everyone again and just let them know what's new, what the direction is going. And, I don't, like I said, that's to me, I'm looking forward to that. It's always a good time of year to be able to do that. And of course, we'll do our usual stuff when we're down there, keeping people in the loop in terms of what's going on, what's the latest and greatest, and do those summary things while we're down there. So again, looking forward to that.
No, absolutely. And I think anyone who didn't go to last year's summit really should go to this year's, simply because this year was a revelation compared to previous years where it was more focused on S4 and by design and less on B1. It seems to have turned on its head now, and there's at least as much on B1 as there is in S4, which is great because I think the vast majority of partners that go are B1 partners, and they always felt like the downtrodden. And Nowadays, they don't need to feel that way. So if there's any B1 partners out there that didn't go this year, don't think about not going again. You will learn something new. You will see the developments in the web client. You will see all the new things that SAP are investing in, and alongside all of us great partners that actually make that solution even better. That's where the key strength is.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And, and it leads into, the question, that's sitting on everyone's mind these days. I think it's the big one, is, how AI has been impacting, the solution offerings from both Cloud for Partners and New Intelligence individually. I know that it's a big area for you guys in terms of offering, but I guess to start it off, I guess the question would be for you, how has AI been impacting the solution offering for Cloud for Partners?
It's slowly but surely changing it and it's speeding up in the way it's actually getting delivered. So I think this year was very much a year of revelation. This is what the art of the possible is, what can be done. And a lot of partners historically are quite conservative and, oh yeah, it's just another fad. But I actually don't think this is a fad. I think AI, when it's utilized properly, is going to make a difference. And one of the key things is making sure people are aware what agentic AI is compared to normal AI. As people, it's not about creating documents. It's not about creating blogs. It's about doing process-driven AI decisions to save you from having to do it yourselves, freeing up time, making you more efficient so you can do more with your time or do something more productive. If someone's good on the phone with customers, you do not want to tie them down with mundane tasks within your ERP system. You want the system to do a lot of that so they can actually speak to people. That's where the value is. And the value from an AI perspective, whether it be the IBM version in Quick Start or whether it be another AI solution out there that works with Business One, is really down to how much time can I save? Yeah. That's the key thing. And I've seen videos of the traditional way of doing tasks in B1 and then showing it with, in this case, MyWave AI, where sometimes you're getting over 60% reduction in time to complete the same tasks. Now, that means you can do twice as many per day, or, as I say, you've got free time. You can go do something more productive. So it's really down then to a business saying, well, if I was a prospect and a B1 partner came to demonstrate B1 to me and didn't talk about AI and what the art of the possible is around efficiency gains and just generating process through that system, I'd be questioning why, because I know full well Microsoft and NetSuite and others are. So it's about making partners more competitive, which obviously is a great thing, because we all sell on the name of SAP. It's a love-hate relationship, but the love bit is that it still is a great brand name and people love to buy into brand names. But fundamentally, AI is only going to enhance how we present it and ultimately win new customers. But just on the polar opposite, if we can make existing customers stickier so they don't get the idea of going to market and looking for something better, that's a great thing as well, because no one wants to lose their customers. And I think it's going to be the same for you guys as well, because we've been talking in the past few weeks, Corey, where the Watson AI for Quick Start from IBM sounds like it's going to be really quite impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. And, at the end of the day, I look at it from a couple of perspectives. In order to become relevant from an AI perspective, you need to have something there, because I think a lot of customers are expecting it, but at the same time, we have to be careful, more from the perspective of a lot of customers will ask for it and say, well, yeah, I need to have some sort of AI. The challenge that we always have is that they may not necessarily be ready for it. So it's they want to have that kind of solution footprint in the roadmap. But again, everything is a matter of the right time and be able to have something that they can get to when the time is right. It's important that I see, even with regards to our solution offering, which goes from, the reporting and dashboarding to the planning, budgeting, and forecasting, to being able to really do everything that you want to do. But again, it's a matter of really getting them started and taking them on a journey. And it's important to note that it's in the roadmap, it's there. But again, I always tell people you need to be able to crawl before you walk, before you run. And the AI stuff that's in there, and I was at the this IBM Tech Exchange in Las Vegas this year, and got a chance to see some of the new stuff that's coming out with what we've done with IBM Cognos Analytics and IBM Planning Analytics, and what's being made available. For me, being in the industry, working in business intelligence for the last 30 years, I was really wowed. And it takes a lot to wow me. And I looked at it from the perspective of watching what they're showing and being able to type in natural language questions against pre-built applications that were already in play inside of our quick start solution, where we could actually type in questions and it'll give you not only answers, but it'll give you visualizations that you can then pull in to a dashboard, into a report or what have you, and being able to take that. Some of the new things that they've even brought up was being able to ask a whole series of questions and being able to provide that insight. And I always love that because it's giving people a starting point. Because again, a lot of the questions I find that get asked on whether it be on a monthly basis or on a quarterly basis from the Office of Finance or anybody else within the organization, a lot of the questions that they're asking are very similar. They're the same questions that they're asking month after month, quarter after quarter, and giving them, not just giving them a report, but giving them that insight as a starting point. Because I always look at it as business intelligence is really giving you that starting point, but it's almost like peeling layers off of an onion. Once you see something, one question leads to another. And being able to provide that context and not necessarily having to go and say, oh, I've got to go ask this person to get me this information because I just saw this. They can literally, they don't have to have that technical know-how. They can type in the question, and the data that's sitting inside of the data warehouse, that's sitting inside of the business intelligence application, it's there, it's ready to respond. And again, it's almost like a chat GPT-like type thing where you can type in those questions. And again, the beauty that I love about it is that you don't have to build anything for it to make that ready. It's already there because we've already built the engine behind the scenes to give out that information. Because today what we're doing is we want to get answers to those questions. We're creating a report or we're creating a dashboard. It's simple enough. It's drag and drop, and customers love that, having that capability. But again, being able to do natural language or even voice to text and, being able to ask those questions, but one of the things that was very interesting when I was sitting and, in on a session when I was at this event in Las Vegas, I started bringing up questions, and to the point where I was talking to product management, I'm saying, okay, this is great. However, these are some of the things that I feel that is missing in the product that you need in order to be able to be really successful with it, to be a real key differentiator. And product manager was asking me, they're like, would you be willing to, sit on the committee to be able to help us explore that? Because a lot of the questions that you're bringing up are what we're seeing as some of the potential challenges that we have. And so they've asked me to sit on that. So I'm going to be, sitting on that board in regards to helping from that direction. I was like honored. I was like, absolutely. Because for me, I see that as a huge value. And I just looked at it from the perspective of, imagine going into a presentation for a customer and the kinds of questions that they're going to ask and have that kind of pre-populated and be able to put out those questions, and all of a sudden it just spits out all the information that you want. I'm like, just from a demonstration perspective, that would just blow people away over and above what we could do already. But I just looked at it from that perspective. I said, absolutely. Because like I said, I see where this is going. AI is going at a phenomenal pace. And at the same time, in order to remain relevant, we need to make sure that, we address it. But again, I had customers that came to me and talked to me and say, oh, yeah, we need AI. We need AI. I'm like, you don't even have a solid foundation for whether it be a reporting platform or a budgeting platform or a planning platform. We need to kind of take things, we need to really look at where it makes sense for you in the organization to be able to take that on. So I look at that. I always take it with a grain of salt. But again, people use it as a way to remain relevant in today's conversation with regards to AI. And there's a ton of applications that are out there. Absolutely. And are they going to provide business value? Yes. It's just a matter of, making sure that it's the right thing and just having it available or making something available to customers, to be able to have access to that is critical. Whether we put it into play right away or whether we kind of stage it out, again, it needs to just be in the footprint. And again, it's not for everybody right away, but I think it's huge.
Definitely not. And I agree with that. And I think a lot of it is education. That a lot of people still don't know what AI is. Not in real terms. They know the artificial intelligence term, but how does it actually affect them? So for a partner that doesn't use AI at all at the moment, how is it of any benefit to them? Well, they need to look at it in two ways. There will be benefits to them individually as a partner, but what benefits are there to their customers and prospects? What's the chances? Will the chances of winning a new piece of business from a prospect go up or down if you use AI properly? If you use it poorly, you're not going to win it anyway. But it's if you use AI properly, you've got a greater chance of winning the deal that you're going for, because you're negating competition, but you're also impressing people. And I think your analogy of crawling before and walking before you're running is a good one. Simply because a lot of people are, if we do this, we can link it to that and link it to this and link it to that. And suddenly you've got a chain of 16 different AI tasks together, which may come out with an end result, which is brilliant for that business. But you can't get there until you've got the basics done. And that's why I've been very keen all year and will be continuing on to make sure that how do we process sales orders more easily? How do we actually modify what's on a web page on our e-commerce more easily? How do we manage our stock records? How do we do stock checks more quickly? That sort of thing is how AI should be used. And if they become standard and have a catalogue of them for any partner in the world who signs up to work with them to go, I want that one, and that one for this customer, bang, that's where the value is. Because one, you're impressing your customers. Two, you're making them stickier. And three, if they're a prospect, you've got a greater chance of winning them because you're delivering value immediately. They're going to see that again.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a matter of, whether you're addressing specific kind of tasks or specific kind of manual operations that you want to help automate versus the other side of the coin being you don't know what they want to be able to do, but you want to have that, that AI component that allows it to give them those ad hoc questions that they can ask that'll give them answers to the questions. Because again, it's kind of like, when you're running these reports or dashboards, they're asking specific questions that you want to be able to see on a regular basis. But what about those ones where you don't know? And you can ask questions and say, well, what should I be looking at? Or where are my problem areas? Where should I be addressing with, whether it's with inventory or with, on the operation side or specific things in regards to financials? Being able to look for those questions or ask those questions and let the tools that are there be able to find those little nuggets of information that are really, going to have a game-changing effect on the business. I think those areas are really compelling. And again, AI can be used in various areas within the organization. It's a matter of, is it something that is a specific thing you're trying to potentially automate, or are you trying to put something in in the hands of the users that may not be very technical to be able to create the stuff that they want, but they know how to ask for what they want. And they can kind of type it out and say, I want to be able to see this, this, and this, show it to me. And all of a sudden the thing just kind of creates it. So again, I look at it as two real paths of, what you're trying to achieve from an AI perspective, is to me is critical from that perspective.
And I'm going to look forward to seeing what you've got then in Quick Start when I see you at the events, at the SAP events. As, for me, that's exciting because reporting can always be improved, but not knowing what you need to ask is part of the problem when it comes to reporting. So if any tool set, as you've just described, enhances that and actually encourages people to actually start asking the questions they're not even thought of, that's phenomenally powerful. And likewise with Business One, if you can get people to utilize and use the ERP more effectively by automating the mundane, so they can't be bothered. A lot of people can't be bothered to do certain things because it just takes time. Oh, I haven't got time to do that. Well, let the system do that. And then you've got no excuse. But the enhanced business reporting you'll get from that is out of the park, simply because the information's there. Management can then make business decisions based on real data. And that's not just a reporting, but that's just general usage of the system as well. I know full well a lot of users of ERP, SAP Business One, no different, do not use it properly. So it's about how do we make it easier to use? How is it easier to consume? So that's what I'm looking forward to in 2025. I think some people have accused AI of just being a bandwagon and nothing much has happened. And I suppose in a way, some of that rings true. However, a lot of it has been about just developing roots. Watch it grow now. I think it will really grow in 2025.
Yeah, like I said, in 2024 was the starting point, really. Not for AI, because we've been working with IBM for a long time, and AI is not new to them. However, that being said, AI is now being recognized from a lot of organizations, a lot of businesses, that they realize now that they need to address it because it's now really becoming relevant. It's really becoming of significance. So that's the key thing that's coming up, and that's what's going to create all of these new applications, all these new possibilities. And like I said, 2024, although it wasn't the starting point of AI, it was the realization that AI of what it can do, where it can go. And you're going to see going into 2025, it's going to be leaps and bounds compared to where we are today from an AI perspective. So I look at it from that front as, again, a lot of organizations are just starting to get involved in it. There's a lot of organizations that have kind of been working on it, but now it's, like I said, it's at the forefront, the forefront of the conversation. But again, it's not to say that any of these organizations have been just started working on it in 2024. It's now, like I said, it's now becoming a real relevant conversation. And like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing where it takes us into 2025.
Absolutely. And we live in a technological world, especially in what we do. We live in technology all the time. There's bound to be something new as well. So I'm looking forward to the new things. I'm always looking to embrace things that can make things better. And if something new comes out on top of AI, fantastic, bring it on. It will remains to be seen. Not everything gets announced early, but it will always be interesting to see what happens, because the day we stop innovating is the day that we die.
Absolutely. So this has been great. So I'd like to put a year in closing, but before I do that, I'd like to put on my holiday hat to kind of wish everyone a very happy holidays, all the best to everyone, all of our partners, all of our customers, our employees, and so forth. I really, appreciate all the hard work that everyone has done. And as you can see, I'm in my festive gear right now, getting ready for the holidays as we wrap up for 2024. So Alyn, I want to wish you all the best, to you, to the folks at Ascari, at Cloud for Partners. I'm looking forward to more strong working relationship going into 2025. And I want to wish you all the best as well going forward.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Happy holidays to everyone. In the UK, we say Merry Christmas generally. So Merry Christmas to one and all.
Excellent. All right, we're signing off again for the last edition of the Business One Exchange, the B1X. Looking forward to speaking to everyone again in the new year, and have yourself a great one, everyone. Have a safe and happy holidays.
Take care.